Hey mamas, you are listening to the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. We all know motherhood can be a beautiful thing, but girl, it can also be ghetto. Join me as we discuss some of the best and worst parts of being a mom raising kids, all while trying to figure out this thing called life. This ghetto is a safe space, mamas. So welcome to the hood. Hey mamas, welcome back to another episode of Motherhood is Ghetto. My name is Joy, and how y'all doing out there? If y'all doing all right, you already know what to say. Say amen. I pray you are having a great day and a great week so far. I hope your new year was everything you hoped for and more. And yeah, as for me, I spent New Year's Eve and New Year's Day at the house, just chilling with my babies. We had some sparkling cider. I did not stay up until midnight. I stayed up until probably like 11 watching anime. Well, first, me and my son, we watched Stranger Things, and then I turned on some anime to watch. Fell asleep before midnight, I know for sure. Um, so all of you guys that texted me like after midnight, Happy New Year, I saw that later in the morning. So, because I was asleep, your girl was asleep. But yeah, I hope that everyone had a fun and safe new year. And if you're here listening to this podcast, and that means you made it. You made it through. So um we're gonna get into today's episode. And today's episode, it's just plain and simple, y'all. Like, I need you to get a hobby. I need you to get a hobby, especially if you are the type of mom that is all about like your kids, your man, or if you're single, like it's just life is just all about your kids, work, eat, sleep, repeat type of deal. I need you to get a hobby. And it's important because life cannot be all about these kids. We love the kids. We love our kids. We love our families. Yes, like that goes without saying, but our whole lives can't be wrapped up in what they got going on and what they're doing. And we need something for ourselves too. We need something that brings us joy and us comfort outside of being mom, teacher, wife, um, housekeeper, maid, cook, like all that stuff. And just to be honest, like being a mom is draining. Like it takes a lot. And then on top of that, working, pouring into someone else's vision, someone else's dream, like all of that is tiring and exhausting to where at the end of the day, all we want to do is just lay down and scroll until we get tired and go to sleep. And then in the morning, we wake up and do it all over again. So, for that reason, we definitely need some hobbies. So if you're a mom and you don't have a hobby, if your hobby is being a mom, which I hope that it's not, but if it is, then I want to share with you some different types of hobbies that you can pick up this year to help with different ways that you may be feeling. And I got the list of these hobbies from Instagram from an account called Careers by Chris. And I stumbled upon her account on Instagram, and she was listing off different hobbies that you can try based off of how you're feeling. So if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling physically like drained, mentally drained, emotionally drained, if you're feeling like empty, just different hobbies that you can try based on you and how you feel. So I wanted to share that, but also too I wanted to get into some of the hobbies that I've picked up along my motherhood journey when I actually made the time for hobbies. And I think that that's really important too, is in order for a hobby to be like a hobby, something that you enjoy, something that like kind of takes you away from what's going on in the day to day, breaks up the monotony, like all that stuff, it has to be planned for. It has to be worked into your day so that way you're expecting it and you're looking forward to it. Now, if you're just like, like you haven't planned for any pleasure in your life or any hobbies, then it could feel like a chore. And that's not what we want. We don't want that. We don't want to feel like what we're doing is like another thing added on to the list of a million things that we already have to do. We want our hobby to feel like it's giving us pleasure, it's giving us joy, it's making us happy, all the warm and fuzzy things. So I think that it's important that hobbies are planned into your day instead of like an afterthought or just added to a list of things to do. So you guys already know I gotta pull up my iPad off screen for my notes because I've made a commitment, like, I am not going to ramble on these podcasts. I'm going to have structured notes. I'm gonna have structured information so that way I am clear and concise and y'all are just not out here twisting in the wind with me, amen. So, first hobby that I have is this right here, this podcast. Um I started doing podcasting back in 2022 because I found that I really enjoyed sharing my stories about what I've been through as being a mom. And I found that when I would tell people stories, like just random stories about things that have happened to me, like since being a mom and like like my daughter getting in the car with a stranger or me planning a monkey themed baby shower for my son. I still laugh about that, but anyways, just stuff like that, like I found that people really enjoyed hearing those stories, and then in turn, like, other moms would share with me, like, different mom stories and stuff, and I'm like, "Okay, so we all out here just effing up." That's cool, like, that's cool to know that I'm not alone. So, that's how the podcast was born, and I just love talking to the camera and doing all the things like editing, figuring out new tips and tricks on how to edit. But what makes podcasting so enjoyable for me right now is the fact that because of advancements in technology, it's made it so much more easy to produce a podcast. So I don't have to put that as much effort as I was putting into it when I first started. Because when I first started, I was doing a whole lot. Like I was recording my vocals in GarageBand, but then recording visuals on my phone and then having to upload those to iMovie and then like line the video with my lips up all correct so that way it didn't look off. I don't know what I was doing back then. And this was like this was at the time where video podcasting like just hit the scene. So people weren't doing that yet. They were just doing like the regular audio and then Spotify had started with where you could upload visual podcasts. So I was like, let me try. So if you go back to some of my earlier podcasts, some of them are video podcasts, but then like I stopped because it just got to be too much. But now in 2026, it's so much easier to produce and create a podcast. There's so many different AI tools that help with the process. So it makes it easier for me. So it's not so much as like a daunting task anymore to do podcasting, and I can do it more frequently. I can have more of a frequent cadence for you guys where episodes are every week because I'm able to record and produce faster thanks to all the tools that are available. So I highly, if you're looking to start a podcast or you want to try it out, just something like to share with family and friends, It's a very easy hobby. You really don't need a lot. You just need a camera and a microphone. And really like these programs like the one I use, like it does everything else for you. So you really don't need much to get started. And another thing about hobbies in general is I think in today's society, we feel like every hobby needs to be monetized, and it doesn't. So if you want to just do something just for the sake of doing it and you enjoy it, don't feel pressure to make money off of it. Just do it because you want the psychological currency of just being happy. Amen. So, yeah, so that's how I look at podcasting. Podcasting was never anything that I thought that I would or could be able to monetize off of. I knew the opportunity was there, but that's not why I started. And I love doing this. So this is definitely like on the top of my list of hobbies that I do. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that I started. Amen. So my next hobby that I picked up in the last couple years is reading. So I had forgot how much I love to read because motherhood took over, being a wife took over. So all the things that my husband and my kids were into, that's what I was into. And I forgot about all the things that I used to do before I was a wife and a mom that genuinely brought me joy and made me happy. And reading was one of them. So a little bit before my husband passed away, I picked up reading again. And I remember my husband got me a couple books for my birthday that year that he passed away. So I had started back up reading, but I rediscovered my love for reading and I've read so many books over the last few years. And I'll probably do a separate episode on all the different books, like kind of like book suggestions that I have. And I don't know, let me know. Should we pick up the book club again in 2026? I don't know. But yeah, definitely reading helps to calm me and it also helps me to give myself a break from screens. So what I like to do is I like to read a book during my lunch break because it helps me to disconnect from that hour for that hour and just focus totally on something else. Um and then when I get home after, like I've spent a little time with the kids, cook dinner, all that stuff, I dedicate an hour before my bedtime to reading, whether that is reading my Bible or reading a book that I have. Or also too, I'll journal a little bit and we'll talk about that too. So the last hour, so my bedtime, I have a full stop bedtime at 9 p.m. So by 8 p.m., I want to be settled in my room doing my hobbies. So, like I said, like usually it's reading. And if that night, if I'm reading my Bible, then I'm also doing like some type of like journaling about what I've read or journaling, writing a letter to God or something like that before I go to bed. And so that way, there's been an hour that's gone by that I do not have my eyes on screens or scrolling, and that's keeping me up. Like, I just stop everything at 8 p.m. And that last hour of the day is just for me to do what makes me happy. And by 9 p.m., I'm going to sleep. Sometimes it does like pass a little over 9, like if I'm really into what I'm reading or I'm having a good time just doing whatever I'm doing. It may go a little over 9 p.m., but on most nights, 9 p.m., that's when I'm closing my eyes and trying to get some sleep. And then, like I mentioned, journaling, right? So journaling is another thing that I like to do. And I have a journal like that I use to talk to God in, and I'll write scriptures in that stand out to me. Stuff like that. I have a journal that I use to write letters to my husband. I have a journal that I use like to write my big visions. Like if I envision something for myself or I really want something, then I have a journal for that. But yeah, it's just something to keep my mind off of what's gone on throughout the day. And even if I do want to journal and kind of reflect on my day, like I'll do that too, just to kind of get it out of my mind so I'm not like going to bed thinking about it. And I can just, my night can just end a little bit more calm than how it may have started. And then also too, a new hobby that I've picked up during my time off from work, I stumbled upon digital planning. So basically what that is like pretty much everything that you would do like on a paper planner, with calendar, dates, all that stuff, but just in digital form. And I learned how to create a hyperlinked digital planner using Canva. So I created myself a digital planner and I think I'm obsessed. Like I want to learn more about digital planners. And I've learned so much already, but I want to learn more and ultimately I want to create a digital planner to sell, um, but I'm not there yet because I'm still kind of learning like what makes a good digital planner because the one that I made for myself is pretty basic. It just has the calendars and then it has the weekly planner so I can plan out my weeks and stuff. But I've seen some digital planners, they have like meal prep pages. They have daily, like you can click on each day of the calendar and it takes you to a daily planner. There's a weekly planner. There's vision board sheets. There's goal sheets. There's just so many things like you can include in a digital planner and everything is clickable. Everything is hyperlinked. So I'm like, how can I do that without having to hyperlink every single thing on every single page? So that's what I'm figuring out right now how to do that. But I think I'm gonna be a digital planner girly, slash iPad girly because I've had my iPad for years and never really used it. But now I want to start using my iPad and I think that I want to transition like planning on paper or like a paper planner to digital planning. I love everything about it. And yeah, so that's a hobby that I picked up while I was off of work and something that I've been learning and teaching myself, so that's been cool too. So see, like it could just be something as simple as that. Um, but now I kind of want to go into give you guys some ideas of hobbies you can try based on how you may be feeling. And again, I got these ideas from Instagram on an account called Careers by Chris. So all these ideas I got from her. So if you want to check out her content, that'd be super dope because so far I like what I see in her content and I thought that this was really cool that she gave this list. So I wanted to share it with you guys as well. That may be thinking like, well, I don't know what hobby I can try. Like I don't know, what I would be good at or, what would be more convenient and this and that. Don't worry, we're gonna go over it. I got you guys. Don't even worry. So we have our first list, which is hobbies to try if you feel numb or disconnected. So first one is learn a new skill for fun. So, not to try to be the best at it, not to try to win an award or anything like that, just for fun. Learn a new skill, anything. Next one is take a class. So like ceramics, dance, vocal, um, painting, art class, something like that, to help you feel more connected. Amen. Um, the next one is volunteer one time a month. And that's something that I started doing towards the middle of 2025 into the end of the year was I started volunteering every month. because my job offers opportunities for us to go out and volunteer. So I have been doing that every month, and I really did enjoy that as well. And I will continue to do that once I go back to work. Continue to volunteer in the community because it does bring a sense of like accomplishment in a sense that you're helping someone else that's in need, so that could really be helpful too. And then there's creative writing and photography walks. Photography walks is something that I might want to explore because I like to go on walks when I'm off here. So that'd be pretty cool. That sounds interesting. So those are hobbies that you can try if you're feeling numb or disconnected. Like as if like you're just everything is like Groundhog's Day. It's very monotonous. It's very much the same, nothing different happening or going on, and you're just in like a hamster wheel and you're just kind of like just just zoned out. So these are some hobbies that you could try to help with that. Amen. So the next set of hobbies are good for you to try if you are mentally exhausted, which I know a lot of us mamas are. So take notes on this. Um, so hobbies to try if you're mentally exhausted. Walking, but with no music and not listening to any podcasts. Just the sounds of nature, amen. Or like if you're walking at home on a treadmill, just not listening to nothing. Like all you hear is the sound of your feet walking in a treadmill. Reading fiction, so taking your mind somewhere else, amen. Something, a mythical magical place, a make-believe place, a make-believe story. And I want to get into that too. I want to get into reading fiction. I've never read, I think that maybe the last time I read a fiction book was in school. So I definitely want to get into that too. The next one is puzzles or paint by numbers. So I've never done paint by numbers, but I have done the jewel thing where like you got all those different colored jewels and you stick them on the picture. So the color jewel, that painting with jewels or jewel painting. I think it's called jewel painting. I've tried that before. But I've never done paint by numbers. I've seen it and it looks pretty cool. And then also too, just puzzles. Go grab you some puzzles, man. Head up to Walmart and go grab some puzzles. Gentle yoga or stretching, and also adult coloring. So these are some hobbies that you could try if you find yourself always mentally exhausted. Okay, next is hobbies to try if you're physically tired. Journaling, highly recommend. It's something you can do in the bed while you're winding down, and it's just sometimes you just got to get some shit off. Amen. Journaling is a great way to do that. Um Knitting or embroidery, that that's something that I probably won't ever try, but for those of you that wanna try it, again, it's one of those things where you can sit and really relax and get comfortable and do it. Also listening to audiobooks and simple cooking or baking. Simple. So don't be trying to make a five-star meal. Real simple things. Again, that's one of those things that I probably wouldn't do because when I'm in the kitchen, I'm not relaxed. But some people, that's their safe space. Kitchens are their safe space. So that would be good if that's you. And then also scrapbooking or photo organizing if you are physically tired. So I could definitely see these being in this category because it doesn't take a whole lot of effort and you can leave it and come back to it whenever you want. So yeah, I agree. I agree with this message. Amen. All right. So the next list is if you are feeling emotionally drained or irritated. You can try strength training. You can try long walks with music. Amen. Boxing and or kickboxing, and then dancing. So, as you guys know, I go dancing every now and again at the dance class. So I would definitely say that it does help when you're feeling like a little down, and dancing with like a group of people and everyone encouraging each other can help lift your spirits. So, highly recommend that. But these are just some examples of hobbies you could try if you're feeling emotionally drained or irritated. Amen. All right. And the next set of hobbies is if you are craving something that's yours. I feel like this can resonate with a lot of us moms because we give so much throughout our every day. Every day we're always giving, and we're giving to our kids, our spouses, our homes, our friends. Like, we give, give, give all day. And again, motherhood is one of those things, like, it's a thankless job. Being a mom is a thankless job. So we don't get a lot of what we reciprocate in return. So these can be some hobbies that can pour back into you. Um, and if you're just craving something that's like, this is just for me, like this is something that I did with my hands for me and for nobody else. So first one is gardening or plant care. So I have a few plants, and I'm learning how to care for plants so that way they don't die. Amen. And don't look at the roses in the background because they dying. But roses are supposed to die unless they're in the bush. And these ain't in the bush, so don't even worry about it. Um thrifting and DIY projects, sewing or crafting. Amen. Learning an instrument, which is going to be me this year because I bought a flute last year and I played it a couple times, but then I stopped. But I'm going to get back on it and learn how to play this flute because that's what I really want to do in my life. Amen. And building something with your hands. So that goes without saying. Like, anytime you can do something like with your own hands and it's just for you, it just brings just a sense of like accomplishment like nothing else. So I approve that message. Amen. And the last one, hobbies to try if you have a low attention span. Okay. Well, where are my ADHD girlies? Where are all the ADHD baddies? Raise your hand. I'm not one, but if you're ADHD baddie and you got a low attention span and you got low iron, raise your hand. Because that's probably you. Like, that's probably describes you. So some hobbies you could try if you have a low attention span is crochet or repetitive crafts. Something that like has like a repetitive motion that you can just do, and you don't really have to like keep track of anything. You just kind of go, and then the thing creates. Um Mini projects, Lego sets, amen. Skill-based games and short tutorials on YouTube. So this, of course, probably isn't a whole comprehensive list, but it just gives you some ideas of some hobbies that you can try depending on some of the feelings that you may be feeling at the time. Or if you just want to, pick something randomly and try it, or something that you've always wanted to try but never got around to doing it, then I highly encourage you to do so. Again, like, we only got one shot at this, y'all. So we might as well make life as enjoyable as we can while we're here. Life doesn't have to always be about the kids, doesn't always have to be about the man, the friends, the job. We can have something for ourselves too, and we can find joy and pleasure in the simplest things for ourselves if we just put the effort and find out what that is. Try different things. Don't be afraid to try. Get out there, try new things. Um and also to remember, it's most helpful when you plan these things into your day. Make it a priority like you make everything else a priority, to pour into yourself by way of hobbies, and that would be the most effective way for you to get those feelings out of the hobby that you're looking for. So that way it doesn't feel like a chore, it doesn't feel like a check on the to-do list. It's really something that you love and enjoy. So, mamas, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and land the plane here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you found this episode helpful, please do not forget to share it with another mom or someone else who you also think would find it helpful. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. You can DM me there. You can keep up with me and the kids there. Also, too, you can follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You can subscribe on YouTube. The YouTube channel is growing there. I appreciate you guys all for listening and sharing. And don't forget to, if you have any questions about motherhood, single motherhood, widow life, raising kids, all that good stuff, or anything else that you may have questions about or want to ask me, feel free to ask. My DMs are open, so you can always DM me on Instagram if you want to connect with me. Also, the comments on the podcast are always on. So on Spotify, you can leave a comment. YouTube, you can leave a comment, all that stuff, and I will be sure to review and answer any questions that you guys may have. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to the episode today. I appreciate you like always. And until next time, mamas. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share with anyone who you think may enjoy it. And follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. Also, feel free to DM me if you have any experiences, opinions, or views on motherhood you'd like me to share on the podcast. Until next time, mamas.